Okay, let me talk about this real quick because this been on my mind, right? We'll get to everything else, but I want to see this real quick. So check this out. I saw this post right here. Let's read this real quick. Born in 1997. That was the year I was born. Too late for millennials, too early for Gen Z. Basically a limited edition. This is true as hell. A lot of people won't understand Zillenials. I was born in the year 1997. I was born February 1997. So I was born the beginning of the year. I'm amongst the oldest of Gen Z. Too late for millennials, too early for Gen Z, right? Because we saw where the entire generation of Gen Z, we saw what took place. We saw what's going on with the Gen Zers and stuff like that, right? Us Gen Zers, the oldest of Gen Z, we literally turned 29 this year in the year 2026, which means next year we turn 30. We are way into our adulthood and we still got teenagers or we still got preteens, I should say. And the younger you go, the crazier things get. The reason why I believe it says it's too late for millennials is because we are the ones that came right after them. The oldest of Gen Z, we picked up right where the millennials left off. And now we're being seen as old by the younger Gen Zers. We're right there in the middle. We were there for different evolutions. We were there through different eras. B2K is about to go on tour. People my age, we were there when B2K was popping. We were about 4 or 5 years old, don't get me wrong, but we were there. We remember the music. We remember the music videos. We remember You Got Served. We were just also watching Nick Jr. and Nickelodeon and Disney Channel and Playhouse Disney and Cartoon Network along with all of that. That's all. We were there during the Bow Wow versus Romeo era. We were there doing the Soulja Boy. You know what I'm saying? We were there for the Lean With It, Rock With It. We were there for the snap music. We were there for the beginning of flat screen TV. We were there for the MySpace, the Facebook, the Uvu era. You know what I'm saying? We were there for that. We were there for the pen and paper days. We were probably one of the last to do that. I keep trying to tell people that. How old were we in 2009? 2007, we were 12. Well, most of us were 12, and then others were turning 12. The year 09, when a lot of things changed. The year 09 was the year Michael Jackson passed away. The year 09, when Toon Disney transitioned to Disney XD, and we no longer had JetX and none of that. The year 09, when the world was introduced to HD quality TV, right? And then also, if I'm not mistaken, okay, the PlayStation 3 came out in 2006, but still, once HD quality came out, that made the PlayStation 3 even better. We were there for the PlayStation. We were there for the PlayStation 2. We were there for the PSP. We was there for the PlayStation 3. And everybody was there for the PlayStation 4 and 5 after that. Come on. We're too late for millennials because millennials had their own. They started a lot of things, and we took on from that in the middle of changing. And now younger Gen Z has what they have. A lot of younger Gen Zers have nothing that us older Gen Zers had. You know what I'm saying? The way that we were playing outside all the time until the lights came on. As a matter of fact, let me stop talking because this other post right here explains it all. Okay. This is why I love being a Zillenial, born 1997 to 2000. I honestly thought that Zillenial was 95 to 99, personally. 96 was the end of the millennial era, the millennial generation. 97 starts the Gen Z generation. 95 is only 2 years older than us from 97, right? But yet we still feel close-knit. We still feel like we're a part of the same era. We're still part of the same clan of groups born from 95 to 99, 99, 2000 or whatever. We were there for a lot of things together before the new generation of Gen Z, the younger Gen Z, started taking over and getting things on their own and started getting things their ways and stuff like that. Let's listen.
I'm gonna lie, I love being a Zillennial.
Me too, sort of.
For those that don't know, Zillennials are like the age gap between 97 and 2000, I believe. It's a mix.
To me, I think it's 95 to 99 or 95 to 2000, but keep going.
Mix of Gen Z and millennial. And it's great because
a mix of Gen Z and millennial.
As a Gen Z, I know trends. I know humor. I'd consider myself a little more progressive than other millennials. But on the other side, like I had a childhood. I didn't have a cell phone growing up. Not
I didn't have a cell phone until 7th grade. Better yet, bro, on God. Hold on. Let me grab something real quick. This is not a phone. This is a remote. Let me show y'all something. This is not a phone. This is a remote. But we are going to use this remote as an example because my first phone was literally the same size as this little ass remote, right? It had a back, no cover. I don't even know what the phone was called. All I know is that I was under Cricket by the time I had it. You had your screen right here, and then you had the buttons that look smack like this to some degree, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. But also it will say A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And in order to text people, you had to keep pressing the button until it hits the right letter, stop, then hit another button until it hits the right letter just to type one word, hit space, and do it again to type another word. That was the type of phone that I had. And I'm not going to say that I'm embarrassed because I was proud of that phone. I was happy to have my first phone. People still had the Sidekick. People had the BlackBerry. People had the slide-up phone with the keyboard where you was just typing like this. And sometimes you ain't even have to look at the screen. And they was typing hella fast. And that was also the intro to touch screen. I didn't have that. I still had to do this and take forever to type 5 words. And before I could even respond back to somebody, they're texting me back complaining that I text slow. That was my first phone. I didn't get the slide-up phone until later when other Androids became more advanced. And then by the time I got a better Android, everybody was on the iPhone wave. By the time I got into the iPhone wave, my first iPhone was the iPhone 5C, but I was falling behind because by the time I got the 5C, everybody was on they were either on the 7 or on the 8. Eventually, I progressed from the 5C to the 8 Plus, but by the time I got the 8 Plus, everybody was on the X, right? I was falling behind and I didn't really get caught up with phones until I got the 14 Pro Max. Now we're on the 17, but I'm at that age where I'm not keeping up with every iPhone every year. I'm going to change my maybe every 3 to 4 years because that's around the time when previous phones start messing up anyway. So there's that. So I probably won't get another phone until like the 18, 19.
until I was in high school. I played outside on the streets until the streetlights came on.
Played outside. I had friends that would knock on my door. Boom, boom, boom. Open the door. Hey, can you come out? Hey, mama, can I go out? Yeah, go ahead. And we was one of them kids where you had to make sure you shut the door so you don't leave the door open to let flies in the house. If you playing outside, you can't keep coming in and out of the damn house every 5 minutes. It's either you in or you out. So because majority of the time we would come in the house to get a drink of water, we couldn't go back in the house. So we had to go to the side of the house and drink out of the water hose. That's what we was doing. My friends had skateboards and scooters and shit. I had my own scooter. Eventually, I had my own pair of roller skates. We was going all over the place. Now, granted, I had a strict mom that didn't want me going further than the perimeter of the house, even if that means going on the other side of the neighborhood. But I didn't listen because I had friends that lived all over the neighborhood. And so we would go to a park that's down there where we could meet halfway. There was a little mini store. We called it was it the PX it was probably called the PX. I lived in the military base at this time, but even still, would take my bike, go down there, get some snacks. Back then, little bags of chips. I was going to eat this later tonight after stream. This bag is like $2 and some change. Back in the day, this would have been at least $1. At least $1, if not 99 cents. I think 99 cents were the smaller bags, but this shit would have been $1. This is now damn near $3. Little in and out pieces of candy were like at least 5 cents a pop. I used to go to the store with little money in my pockets. Better yet, I would pay with coins and I would still have at least a handful of snacks in my hand. What a Gatorade. Come back home, smack on them. You know what I'm saying? But we also, and I'm pretty sure he might say this before I'm going a little too ahead of myself, but he might say this. My age group, we were able to balance going outside and staying in the house ass glued to the couch watching some good ass TV. Bro, Saturday morning cartoons, Nickelodeon in the morning, Nickelodeon throughout the afternoon, Nick at Night in the evening, and by that time we was going to bed anyway. Playhouse Disney in the morning, Disney Channel through the rest of the night, waking up early in the morning between 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and Brandy and Mr. Whiskers would be on TV, the Buzz on Maggie would be on TV, George Lopez would be on Nick at Night and shit. Come on, bro, Dave the Barbarian being on at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We had good ass TV, and that was back when TV was TV. Now television isn't the same anymore because everything is on digital platforms, which I'm not complaining about, but we were able to balance going outside and coming back inside, watching some good ass TV, going in the house knowing when certain shows would come on. We definitely had a childhood. Little kids climbing on trees and making tree houses, playing tackle football at the park, playing some pickup basketball all the time, and little kids who were good enough playing with the big kids. You know what I'm saying? Playing tag, playing ding dong ditch on people's houses. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. We getting into the trouble. The type of trouble that my mom would be okay with is me and my friends playing ding dong ditch. One of the adults catches us and just wants to report us back to our homes, to our parents. That's probably it. Or maybe a disagreement will go on between me and a friend and we just start fighting and somebody has to break it up and we got to go home to our parents. That's the type of trouble that our parents would be okay with. Not the type of trouble where we go out and get in trouble with the police. And, like, of course.
Although I was born in the late 90s, I feel like I had a
As was I.
90s childhood. I learned cursive in elementary school, and they're not even teaching that anymore.
Learned cursive in elementary school, learned multiplication well in elementary school. I struggle with multiplication and division a little bit, but the more I practiced, I got better at it. You know what I'm saying? And I did not know that they don't teach cursive anymore. For real? So do they just learn off the fly at home? Because how do these kids today have good signatures? A lot of these kids actually have good signatures. My signature is ass. I'm still trying to work on mine.
One thing I really appreciate about the millennial side of me is that I know how to be a hard worker, but on the other side, the Gen Z side, I know how to balance my work, rest, and also take care of myself. Y'all, I love Harry Potter.
As do I. This is about to get a follow out of me. As do I. And I'm a Star Wars lover.
And I love sending GIFs. I love activism, and I love Gen Z lingo. And I absolutely love that I was in middle school when the Hunger Games series came out. And don't even get me started on being in high school 2014 through 17, having a Tumblr, being there when Instagram first came out.
What? Tumblr? Uvu? When Instagram first came out? When Snapchat was at its peak? When Path was popping? Bro, what? If you didn't have an iPhone, you was video chatting on either Uvu, on Skype, on Tango. Remember Kik? No. I'm not talking Kik, the streaming platform. I'm talking KIK, Kik Messenger. Y'all remember that shit? Bruh. We had a childhood. And then the computer games that we would be playing. When we was playing on the Disney Channel website, playing different games from the Disney Channel shows, the Disney Channel games type of thing, right? Playing little games based on shows from Cartoon Network on the Cartoon Network website, the Nickelodeon ones on the Nickelodeon website. I remember when Nickelodeon had you make your own avatar and you would walk in different universes and still talk to people, not verbally, but you had to type in the chat to talk to people. Y'all remember Wii World? Y'all remember Mies? Y'all remember Pop Tropica? Come on, bro. Childhood. And my little brother's hype Wizard 101. Nigga, Wizard 101, I was in middle school when that came out. My middle brother loved him some Club Penguin. Club Penguin came out when I was 10, if I'm not mistaken. Is Club Penguin still a thing, or did that end? Club Penguin. Online game. It was. So it stopped in 2017. It came out in 2005. How old was I in 2005? Born 97, 2007, I was 10. I was 8 years old when Club Penguin came out. And I remember the first intro of Club Penguin. It was on Disney Channel when they first brought it out. And Madison Pettis and some other kid was on that joint introducing Club Penguin. It ended in 2017. I was 20 years old in 2017. My first brother, who's 5 years younger than me, loved him some Club Penguin. I never had a Club Penguin. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't hop on that trend or on that wave. My little brother did. But I had Pop Tropica. I remember getting on Yahooligans. If y'all remember Yahooligans for those with Yahoo accounts. I remember Cool Math. Y'all remember Cool Math? Bruh, come on, man. We had it all back then.
Being a Zillenial was peak. Absolute peak.
Absolutely.
Not gonna lie, I love being
peak, bro. We had a lot, bro. We definitely had a lot. I miss being a kid. I miss the childhood. I miss the early 2000s to mid 2000s. I'm not even gonna hold you. I felt like even though my social life wasn't all the way up to par, I do miss what we had from the 2000s all the way through the 2010s. 2020 is when just went to because we're adults now. We got to worry about other priorities. We got to worry about adult things. And then going into 2020, right? 2017, I was 20 years old. 2018, I'm 21. 2019, I'm 22. 2020, I'm 23. COVID hits, and a lot of things just went to shit after that. And even though we are 6 years past that pandemic, for some reason, it still feels like people are recovering from that still to this day. It just feels like it. I don't know if it is or not, but it just feels like it, right? So as a Zillenial, we have definitely went through different eras as far as economic recessions and I don't want to sound political to y'all because we was just talking about the fun shit, but we got to talk about this, right? The year 2000, people thought the world was going to end. 2001, 9/11 happens. 2008, 2009, the economy took a mad dip. And as time went on and Obama became president, it was starting to get better from there. And maybe there were some things that happened in between, but then 2020 hits and we're in a new pandemic. I remember when H1N1 was going crazy. That was back in like 08, 09, right? When H1N1 was that virus going around. Let's see, Ebola. When Ebola was going around, I remember that. And then after that, there was this thing about monkeypox, but that completely got forgotten. We didn't think we was going to get anything else after that. And then 2020 hit and then boom, the world changed from there. And like I said before, even though we're 6 years past that, it still feels like we're recovering from the damage that caused. A lot of lives changed that year. And now it feels like we're in a different world now, but at the same time, it's like because of that, a lot of things have changed through the years that got us as a whole where we are today. But at the end of the day, man, listen, I'm proud of being a Zillenial. I'm proud of being the oldest of Gen Z. I'm not ashamed of being a part of Gen Z because I know that my age group, I know the era we come from. I know the era we experienced. I will never take that for granted. I will never forget that because those were definitely the happiest times of my life. And now here I am, 28, soon to be 29 in February. And I got to make my older adult years the best of my life now. And it sucks and it's hard, but I got to make something good out of this, right? That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? That's just how life goes.